Dear loving students, welcome to the online class. I hope you are all keeping fine and you are busy with your revision for pre-midterm exam. We have already told you we have 3 chapters for midterm exam. Economics chapter 1, the story of village Palambur. Chapter 2, people as resource. And Civics chapter 1, what is democracy, why democracy? So I want all the students to read these chapters 2 or 3 times thoroughly so that you can write any questions, especially multiple choice questions. Multiple choice question can be asked from anywhere within the lesson. So please read the chapter, study well, study regularly, systematically, so that you can score more marks. The exam will be taken in the form of Google. You will have MCQ questions. Automatic response can be given. And there will be short answer questions and long answer questions, which you will have to write in paragraph option. And you can send to the concerned teacher. For example, you can send it to me through my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number 9847831642. So after the exam is over, those short answers and long answers you can send it to me. Soon after the exam is over, you can send it to me at my WhatsApp number. So let us have a revision of the pre-midterm syllabus. First we start with the story of village Palambur. First of all, let us find out the types of transport available in Palambur. Palambur is a small village which has got bullock carts, tongas, bogies, motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, etc. We have already studied that Palambur is a small village. You should know how land is distributed in Palambur. Palambur, when we come to land, let us find out how land is distributed in Palambur. There are 450 families in Palambur. Out of these 450 families, 150 families are landless. 240 families have less than 2 hectares of land. So 150 people are landless. 240 families have less than 2 hectares of land, and there are 60 families who have more than 2 hectares of land. Some may be having maybe 10 hectares of land. So that is the land use pattern of Palambur. Another speciality, let us discuss about how land is cultivated. Palambur has a well connected system of irrigation. So they can cultivate 3 crops a year. In Palambur they cultivate kharif crops in the raining season, especially jowar and bajra. And after that, during this October to December, October, November, December, they cultivate potatoes. And during the Rabi season, winter season, January, February onwards, they cultivate wheat. So there are they grow jowar and bajra as kharif crops. Then they grow potato October to December. Then they grow wheat in the Rabi season, or we call it the winter season. So this is possible because they have a good network of irrigation. A well-developed system of irrigation available. Then organization of what are the factors responsible for production. Land is required Then labor is required, then capital is required. There are two types of capital. One is called physical capital, second one is called human capital. And the type of capital we will again study in detail. Type of capital. One is called working capital. What is working capital? Raw materials. Suppose you have a sugar mill. Your raw material is a sugar cane. Suppose you have a flour mill. Your raw material may be wheat, maybe rice. Second one, money in hand. The money which you have in hand, that is a working capital. You need money to pay salaries. You need money for buying machines and all that. Okay. That is the money in hand is called working capital. The human capital is labor. And what about a fixed capital? What all items are called fixed capital? Tools, machines, buildings are called fixed capital. It is fixed. And we have the types of production: farming and non-farming activities. In Palambur, main activity of the people, farming, agriculture. Most of the people are employed in farming. Their family members all join together for farming. And non-farming activity, we studied what are the main non-farming activities of Palambur. We have studied non-farming activities. Dairy farming, shopkeeping, transportation, small-scale manufacturing. So, what are the non-farming activities? Small-scale manufacturing. We know there is a man called Misri Lal. Misri Lal has a small-scale manufacturing unit. He has purchased a machine he has a sugar cane crushing unit. He and his family members are working, and he makes jaggery and he sells it to the nearby town called Shapur and makes a profit. Transportation we have already seen. And another non-farming activity is dairy farming. They sell milk and milk products. Another one is called shopkeeping. There is one a man who is selling tea and snacks. There is another person, Kareem. He has set up a computer training center. Then we have the factors affecting farming in Palambur. Land, how land is distributed, we saw. Method of cultivation, we saw. Kharif crop, and they have three type of crops grown, and they multiple cropping, growing more than one or two crops on the same piece of land. And modern farming, like we saw green revolution, modern farming, using HIV seeds, pesticides, fertilizers on a large scale, using modern methods of irrigation, using tractors, harvesters, etc. for farming. That is called modern farming. We have studied what is green revolution. Green revolution refers to increase in the production of crops like rice and wheat by using HIV seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, irrigation facilities, and by the use of modern machines like tractors and harvesters, etc. Labor. In Palambur, small-scale farmers, they cultivate with the help of their family members. And on the other hand, the rich farmers, they hire laborers from other families. Then capital. From where do they get money for cultivation? From where do the small farmers? We have done that question. From where do the small farmers get money for farming? The small farmers, those who have less than 2 hectares of land, they borrow from either rich farmers. They may be borrowing their tractor. They may be borrowing their harvesters. They may be using their electric motor, and even for irrigation purpose, they may be hiring the tube wells. Then, plus they also borrow money from borrow money from money lenders at a high rate of interest. They will also borrow money from traders to whom they will sell some of the remains of their products if they have, and they borrow money from traders, money lenders, and rich farmers. What about rich farmers? From where do they get money? Rich farmers will have surplus money of their own. They have surplus products, surplus wheat, surplus jowar, bajra, which they sell in the market and get surplus money. And they will also go to, sometimes they can also go to banks and get money from the banks also. And market selling of farm products. They sell it either in Shapur, okay, or nearby town. That is what they do. So, non-farming activities we have already seen. Let us go to the next the type of economics activities. We come to people as a resource. How people can become a resource. We have studied that people can become a resource by investing money in education, training, skill development, medical care, etc. If people invest money in education and medical care and training, the people can become a resource. That is called people as resource. When people develop their abilities and their productive talents, people can become an asset for the nation. Otherwise, normally we consider population as a liability, a burden for the society. That burden can be turned into an asset, a resource by giving them proper education, health care, and training. Let us find out what are the different type of economic activities. Primary activities. We already studied detailed primary activities, agriculture, poultry farm, all that, growing fish, poultry farm, agriculture, all these are primary activities. We have already done. Agriculture, fishing, forestry, animal husbandry, poultry farming, mining, quarrying, all these are primary activities. Agriculture, fishing, forestry, animal husbandry, keeping animals for milk and milk production, poultry farming. Secondary activities, manufacturing of goods and services. Secondary activities, manufacturing of goods. Tertiary activities means providing services, banking service, LIC service, all that. So providing goods and services. Tertiary activities are trade, transport, banking, health facilities, education facilities, insurance, tourism, communication. All these are tertiary activities. So, then we come to the parts of economic activities, market activities, non-market activities. Market activities means those activities which give you some monetary gains, benefits. You get some money. Non-market activities, maybe mother cooking at home, food, non-marketing activities for the consumption of their family members. Then we have studied that how people can become a resource. People can become a resource by investing money in education. We have seen the example of Japan, how Japan became a developed country. Japan became a developed country because Japan invested money in the education of their children. They spend more money for education and health care. And they don't have much resources. They import resources from other countries. And they provide skill, education, healthcare to their people. That is how they became a developed country. We already studied the question why education is important for human capital formation. We already studied how health plays an important role in human capital formation. If they have health only, they can work. Otherwise, if they are not healthy, they cannot contribute much for production. They will have to take leaves most of the time. and that will affect very badly. The health is very important. That is why government has set up a primary health centers, and community health centers and medical colleges, all that for taking care of the health of the people. And for education, we know government has set up government schools, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, midday meal schemes. They have set up colleges, schools, engineering colleges, medical colleges, all that for providing education. So we know that we have studied a question: why educated parents invest more money on the education of their children? Because they have realized the importance of education. They have benefited from education. If their children are educated, they will get a better salary, better income, and they can enjoy better health facilities, and they can contribute better for the society. If a person is a doctor or engineer or a professor, a scientist, a pilot, a nurse, a lawyer, an industrialist, anybody can contribute for the society. So we have seen that how health plays an important role in the human capital formation, how education plays an important role in the human capital formation. The last part we come to why women are paid low in the societies, because women are less educated, they are less trained. That is the reason. They are not sometimes as skilled as men in India. So another problem, we said that another problem that is being faced by our country is disguised unemployment, seasonal unemployment. We studied what is employment. What is unemployment? Unemployment is a situation in which a person is willing to work, but he does not get gainful jobs. So there are two types of unemployment mainly you find in the agriculture sector. One is called seasonal unemployment, the second one is called disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment you find where the work which can be done by 5 people are being done by 8 members of the family. So the 3 people are extra. Without these 3 people also the work can be completed. So, and second one is called seasonal unemployment. In agriculture you get to work only for during the time of plowing, sowing, harvesting. The rest of the time we call it a lean period. At that time they don't get any work. Another problem faced by our educated people, educated unemployment, our people who are with the post graduation, they do not get any jobs. So that they, if those people do not get jobs, it is a wastage. They become a burden for the society. So educated unemployment is a peculiar problem that our country is facing. We need to change our pattern of training, our education, so that more and more people can get jobs. What are the features of democracy? Is very simple. One is people can choose their rulers by voting. Citizens are protected through constitutions. You can approach a judiciary if violation of your fundamental rights. There is a free and competitive elections, free and fair elections. Choice and opportunity available to all the people on equal basis. There is a rule of law and all are equal before law. These are some of the features of democracy. Then democracy is accountable, all that we have studied. Then what are the drawbacks, demerits of democracy? Instability of leaders. Leaders keep changing, no stability, no scope for morality. There is no scope for morality. Delayed results, delayed decisions. The results are delayed, bad decisions. Sometimes they take bad decisions, and there is a delay in taking decisions because you have to consult so many people, debate and discussion has to be done. Another major problem is there is corruption. There is corruption very much prevalent in our country. And nowadays we are hearing news about corruptions in different parts of our country. Then another problem, ordinary people are neglected. They do not know what is happening. Nobody bothers about ordinary people. They are only concerned about corporate people, rich people. Then what are the arguments in favor of democracy? One is democracy is an accountable form of government. How they are accountable? They are accountable to the needs of the people, wishes of the people, aspirations of the people. Democracy is accountable. They are responsible to the needs of the people. Second one, they improve the quality of decision making. Why decisions are taken through debate and discussion. They provide a method to deal with the differences and conflicts. In democracy, differences and conflicts can be solved in a better way, in a peaceful manner, through either with the help of parliament or through with the help of judiciary. Next one, democracy enhances, increases the dignity of the citizens. Citizens can live with more dignity. They are not discriminated on the basis of their gender, caste, color, and they can live with dignity. All the people can live with dignity in a democratic country. That is why we say they are no more treated as subjects. They are treated as citizens. In a monarchy system, people are treated as subjects, almost like slaves. But in a democracy, people can live as citizens. Then, another point, democracy allows to correct its own mistakes. It can correct its own mistakes. It is possible that democracy make mistakes. Those mistakes can be corrected, and they can take better decisions. Now let us come to some of the questions. You try to find out the answers. What does this is about? We studied about other questions that all I have already given you. You can go through why Pakistan cannot be called a democracy, why China cannot be called a democracy, why Mexico cannot be called a democracy, why Zimbabwe cannot be called a democracy. Those questions we have done. Please go through that. What does a candidate need before contesting elections in China? Okay, you should get just first questions. I'll just tell you. What does a candidate need before contesting elections in China? He should get the permission from the Communist Party of China. Like this, you find out other questions answers. You can find out. In a democracy, the final decision should rest with those leaders or representatives who are try to find out who are elected by the people. Next question, third one. What are the values for which democracy stands for? Democracy stands for, we can just tell you these questions also. What are the values for which democracy stands for? Democracy stands for equality, justice, liberty, all this. Okay. Then, who led a military coup in Pakistan 1999? That answer you can find out your own. When Zimbabwe became independent, that answer also you can find out. Name the Chinese parliament. Name of the Chinese parliament. What is the full form of PRI? Name the country where women did not have the right to vote till 2015. That also you can find out from the lesson. The legal framework order passed by Pakistan has given the president the power to dash and dash. So you can find out that one. And the last question number 10. What is SANU PF? What is SANU PF? You find out what is SANU PF. Let us find some more questions in economics. Why there is a heavy competition among the farm laborers in village Palambur? First questions I'll just tell you. Because people are willing to work for low wages. They don't get employment opportunities. So some people are, especially during the lean season, so some are willing to work for low wages. Why? That is why there is a heavy competition. Give example of a fixed capital. One of the important non-farming activity of Palambur is, you please find out. What is meant by working capital? You can find out. Name two crops grown in the raining season in Palambur. Raining season in Palambur. What is the full form of HYV seeds? When investment is made in the form of education, training, medical care, the population becomes dash. Please find out. What is the main purpose of a midday meal scheme introduced by the government of India? Which sector of Indian economy absorbs more labor or laborers? Which sector of Indian economy absorbs more laborers? The last question. Why Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan started by the government of India? Why they started a Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan? So with that we have done a short revision of these three chapters. Please read the chapter very well and try to answer the questions point wise neatly. I want all the students to read the chapter minimum 2 or 3 times. Learn the question answer. There will be short answer questions and long answer questions. Short answer, long answer questions you should write down in the paragraph, and you should send to me through my WhatsApp number. Once again, I tell you my WhatsApp number 9847831642. So wish you all the best.